Alright, welcome back everybody to Blast the Process 3. I am Kick-Ass Pancakes, and here we have a three-way Ristar race with HaramScaram,
Hey,
Lizstar,
Hi.
and D4gr0n. And here with commentary we have D4gr0n, so I'm going to pass it over to him. And good luck to the racers.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait. Anyway, welcome to Ristar, one of the classic titles from the Genesis. And yeah, we got three of the best runners of this game here doing the any percent route. So yeah, not much to say before. It's a very simple game. You grab things, you grab star pulls, go fast, and hope for good RNG in a few places. Anything you guys want to say before I do a countdown?
I hope I don't die.
May the RNGesus be with you.
Hey, wait a second. It's not working.
Goblins are cool.
It's not working.
What, because you're not in there?
No, I can hear everyone.
Yeah, everything's good. What's up, Chubbs?
What's wrong?
Oh, I'm dumb. We're good. Whee!
Chubbis is jealous he's not racing.
Yeah, he's jealous. It's okay.
Okay, anyway, anything else besides Chubbis?
You got this.
Goblins are cool.
We love you, Chubbis. That's all we're gonna say.
Thank you.
Chubbs is sleep.
I'm special.
Oh my. He's just sleep deprived.
Hashtag let my Chubbis sleep.
I'm assuming D4gr0n's probably doing the countdown, right?
Yeah, let me just count down. All right, I'll start from 3 to go. All right,
Okay.
everyone on the start screen, ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Liz?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Oh, yeah. All right.
All right. So starting off with Flora 1, pretty basic platforming. Just gonna get some good jumps, avoid some enemies, and moving into some star pulls. Get to that in a little bit. So there are all these runners who are going to take basically the same route throughout the run. It might change a little bit depending on the certain star pulls, but we'll see. So here's... Oh yeah, so the bunny there is one of the first bouts of RNG. And now here's a star pull, the first one. So this is where a huge amount of speed comes in, but it's also really hard to control, and there's also all sort of small mechanics involved with it. Okay, nicely done. Pretty synced up. Into Flora 2 now. So just more very basic platforming, avoiding these geckos. They're jumping out and they have to wait a little bit. They're coming up to the second star pull of the run. And this one is a bit harder because they don't want to just get to where they want to go. They want to skip this tree, and that requires a pretty good bounce or fly, or shot, or fly. So Haram manages to land on the tree. That's a pretty good shot there.
Haram is really good at landing on that tree. I can never get that. I don't know how the heck you do it.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like I'm that good at it, but sometimes it just happens.
I've literally never gotten on top of that tree.
It's pretty hard. It is pretty hard.
So that gives Haram a nice small lead there. But all the players are now going into the fight against Rijo. So Rijo has a quick kill. They want to stay grabbing and hugging the ever-living love out of him, and to squeeze the monkey off his back 3 times.
That was dumb.
I got it.
I should have got it, but he didn't bounce me to the left.
So the bounce off Rijo can be pretty difficult to deal with. It's RNG also in when the monkey falls down, I believe. So there's also factors that complicate that. It makes it kind of something you have to improvise with at the time. It can be pretty interesting. But still, everyone is still pretty close together. And we are going now into Undertow, which brings in swimming. And Ristar can actually swim. He's actually really good at swimming, and he moves very fast. It's pretty surprising for a platformer character. Usually, they can't swim. They die in water most of the time. But yeah, they just have some good movement through the stage. And there'll be 2 sections of water before they get to the mini-boss. Okay, so Haram's there, waiting on the first wave. D4gr0n's there now, also waiting on the first wave. And Liz just now getting there, waiting on the first wave. So this fight is pretty simple. Just 3 waves of enemies come through. The fish will shoot out these projectiles. Kind of comes out randomly, but pretty easy to read. The main thing here is on the 3rd wave of the jellyfish. It'd be best to see them as far right as possible so that you can get to the exit of the stage as fast as possible. So Haram got a leftmost one, and it looks like both D4gr0n and Liz got a centered one. So the Undertow 2 is almost all swimming. In fact, it is all swimming, except I guess the very beginning. Lots of so this stage is split up into many different rooms, which all have their little gimmicks to get through. It's gonna be hard to catch up with each one of them, but they're gonna destroy the macaronis, as I call them, and try to get a good hit for the frog onto the blue faces, which will unlock the gate to the next area. Or they can go around and get the ladder. Obviously, they already passed that part. This part with the macaronis that's floating in the background there, you want to get rid of all of them to move on. So you want to get a good balance and climb up to the left wall. Everyone doing pretty good. On the second face lock, there can be some trouble on the climb. You might be hit by a frog. It looks like nobody was hit by a frog. Next section is another mama snail, or nautilus, I suppose. And then the 50-50 treasure room.
Got it first.
Look, Liz got it good. She got the good flip of the coin. I missed the other 2. It only wastes like a second or so.
Haram is going to do his patented zip through the floor and soft lock the game maneuver.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
But yeah, a very frantic stage. Lots of stuff to deal with rapidly. But everyone is already on to Osa, the hammerhead shark boss. This is also probably the biggest section of RNG in the game. It can make or break a run for sure. You can still probably get a run with bad RNG, but it really hurts to run with it. So what we want to see is for Osa to just swim in and attack Ristar immediately, every single time, except for the first attack. But he might be able to do this other stuff here, like send out fish and knock some rocks down. So,
Yeah, so I got the
two
jelly.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Two
got
bad bouts of RNG.
I got the jellyfish, but then I got charged after that. So
that's good. I only got the extra rock fall. The rest of it was good.
nice.
So nobody really got perfect RNG, but that's fine. Actually, everyone was pretty similar. Still pretty synced up. It looks like Haram has a little bit more of a lead now. D4gr0n and Liz are a little bit closer together. Okay, Scorch 1. I'm just gonna explain the new route that that Chubb has found. I don't know, the legend. Well, I was gonna say something, whatever. The Glitch Master Chubbus has found. Previous world record holder. Maybe future world record holder. Anyway.
Well, he has no record, it's just tied.
Is it? Oh, okay. Well, okay, anyway, so, real quick, everyone has avoided this. He found this Easter egg that almost nobody, if not anybody, has ever found. Now, please pay attention to both Lizstar and D4gr0n. They're going to take this statue here and throw it on these lights here that would normally you'd go through to get to this maze section where fire raises up. It's kind of spooky as a casual player. Instead, by throwing the statue, it breaks open the ground, forming a shortcut that allows you to go straight to the memory boss. I don't think, and in my experience, I don't know anybody, any game fact, any guy that's ever mentioned this. Nobody in the speedrunning community has known about it. This just came out, and yeah, of course, everyone has to go for it. You just bring a statue from the second gate or the second cage, and then just get some good throws and throw it right there.
Terrible RNG.
Okay. Scorch 2 is still the same though. It has 3 star pulls in it, and this makes it a very fast stage, but it also requires very good movement and positioning as well. So, if from what I can tell, it looks like Liz got the best ending position on the second star pull. D4gr0n got a pretty good one. I kind of miss Haram's one. What would you? How good was that, Haram? Would you say?
Probably the best I can get it. I didn't land in the bucket, but it only took me 1 grab to hop in there.
Okay, so about equal as Liz then. So really good. That actually gave Liz quite the boost. She's sneaking up on Haram now. D4gr0n is not far behind at all though.
This is a very
keeping
close race.
pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. Out of hand. Kind of a jerk. More RNG, of course. He can float above and shoot out his claws, and you can grab them and hit him. You don't want to see it though. You can do it up to 4 times each.
You mole! You mole!
I hate
How
moles,
could
man.
you? How could this happen? Okay, I'm sorry.
So on the dropping section, it's a little tricky to grab out of hand. You can move pretty fast, and the angle is pretty weird. And also, out of hand's actually piloted by a baby that is whiny and needs to be headbutted in the face to shut up.
Absolutely.
Well, to knock out Greedy's little evil orblet. But yeah, great fights, and we're just speeding along here, blasting through the Ristar Galaxy. Coming up is Sonata 1. Sonata 1. First thing though is gonna be the God cycle. They're going to need to get this metronome and have close to perfect movement, constantly moving forward to grab the metronome at the end of this section without having it drop on these fans and losing some time. And then from there, there'll be a few intermediate sections before the next difficult trick, and probably one of the most difficult tricks in the run. But yeah, the gimmick of this stage is it's obviously music-based, and there's some birds blocking your way. They need metronomes to sing, though, because apparently they're terrible. And so you have to grab them and give it to them. It's basically like keys. So, let's see. I'm gonna just take a breather here. looks like...
There's a lot to do and talk about, Cronin.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially at the speed we're going at here.
Yeah, for my GDQ race, Cronin had like 3 other people to back him up. Or my GDQ run, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, with Breakdown there, of all people.
Wow.
I didn't get the 4 hits.
Nice. Nice, Liz.
This is one of the fastest sonatas I've ever done. I got everything perfectly.
Haram, how many tries did you get?
I lost count.
Oh, okay.
I need to. That was it.
So in that whole tussle there, trying to catch up, D4gr0n did actually take the lead. Liz is both Liz and Haram are finishing up the fight now. They're all doing the Japanese version, by the way, and I haven't even covered the version differences. But the biggest one in terms of the run is that fight right there. There's going to be music notes that appear above the birds, and that's not there in the American version. You have to pretty much guess where they come from. There's a few other differences, like Ristar's just living a happier life, and a later boss kind of just completely changes what it looks like. Sonata 2 is not as crazy as Sonata 1, but there's still a lot of interesting stuff here. The ballerina birds, they're gonna want to get some good hits on them. They might end up having to take a damage boost through them instead. But
I had a damage boost through them, which means I couldn't damage boost later on in the stage when it was a little bit better to damage boost. I had to conserve my health a little bit better.
Yeah, health management comes into play at the end. There's a few things you can do. You can land on some spikes. You need to go through the bottom section. Well, you don't have to, but it saves a little bit more time. And just push your way through the entire level, basically. So next is the Vulture. That was my attempt at the name.
AKA another bad RNG boss.
Sorry, stream. I had to. Anyway, so the cool thing about this boss, if you didn't know casually, if you face right, or I'm sorry, if you face left, when grabbing the perch there, then Ristar is just gonna get knocked back into the perch so that you can keep on grabbing and you don't have to worry about running into the music notes. As for the fight itself, it's fairly simple, but there is again RNG in terms of if Awak is going to stay in the air and like drop some feathers on you, or will he dive immediately down. But nothing is stopping any of these guys and girl. It's still a steady race between the three. It's pretty crazy. D4gr0n still has a small lead here, but free on one. Well, it's free on one. Okay, so free on one introduces this sliding mechanic. There's also this weird crystal that gives kind of like the star pool type shooting star mechanic. So you get a nice little jump off it and get a boost. It's pretty cool. But it's pretty basic platforming up until the mini boss at the end of the stage. In which case they're gonna be fighting this kind of annoying jerk who lives here.
I call him the bully.
He's dumb, and he likes you do a snowball fight with him. Ristar is game. So what they're going to be aiming for is trying to get the fast snowballs. I'm not sure of the frames, but they're all going to jump and then try to throw it as close to the ground as possible to get a really fast snowball that will go right past his defenses and hit him faster. But otherwise they just want to, defeat him. And they did.
I just looked on the stream and like Ristar did a little spin and it was Haram, then me, then D4gr0n, like literally like in perfect synchronization order. It was beautiful.
Freon 2. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, Freon 2. We got swimming for the second to last time in the game. We're quickly coming to the end of the game here. Not just yet, but we're almost there. Freon, so the swimming is not really as huge of a deal as it is in Undertow 2. It's not as used as much, but there is some parts where you have to navigate around. There's those fan mechanics as seen in Undertow 2. And otherwise, it's just some basic movement. And again, at the end of the stage is the tricky part with the series, like the pyramid of slippery slopes. And there's a way to save some time here where you grab the ceiling, which cuts off the animation, allowing Ristar to turn around and jump sooner and climb quicker. A little trouble with that, the speed can be a little strange and the jump can be a little hard to get used to, but everyone else here is used to it. I don't know how they do it. It seems pretty hard to me, but anyway, no problem to them. Here's Edamore. It's a cat. It likes chili. So our boy's here to give some good old curry to feed this dumb cat. That's basically the fight. They have to. It's basically a set pattern. As long as they get the curry in, like their first chance each time. And only real difference here is there is some RNG, again, very slight, in how many bounces Edamore is going to do, if it's further to the left or a little bit to the right. And I guess just one thing to say is that
Something
the reason
happened
why
to my
it's a
timer.
the reason why it's a cat, it's actually like a kind of slime beast in the American version. Is there's a Japanese pun called nekojita, which means cat tongue, and that just means someone who likes spicy food. It's apparently funnier in Japanese. So yeah, looks like Liz and D4gr0n are moving on to Automaton. Unfortunately, Haram did actually die. He has to do the fight again. He's almost done.
It's okay. I'm going to screw up Automaton skip, and you'll still get ahead of me.
This run is so bad. Oh my god.
So Automaton won. We finally reached the mecha finale stage, of course.
Wow.
And lots of interesting mechanics. Okay, so D4gr0n gets it first try. Now, what is it?
Nice.
It is an Automaton skid. This is a pretty hard thing to get. You have to climb up this wall here and grab this pole here on the corner, and it requires a very, very strict positioning and timing to get through. It's very difficult. It saves quite a lot of time. To not do this means you have to go through the final underwater section. There's like invisible water that you swim through.
Which I'm going to do. I give up.
Oh man.
It's really hard to get it. There's definitely a compromise you have to do with it. The water section's not too bad. There is a lot of enemies in your way, so it is a little dangerous in terms of health. You have to climb up through this section with spikes. Kind of the first time that a casual player is forced to climb up the wall. Kind of teaches you that method, or else you die. So that is the alternative. Haram also gets Automaton skip. So he manages to make up a little bit of time. Liz is just ahead of him though. Captain Hat, there is is the informal name of this mini boss here. Has all sorts of different patterns. Fastest pattern to start out with is circle. Looks like both Liz and Haram get the cross pattern at first, and so they just have to go through the patterns and hit Captain Hat himself till he turns red, and then one more time and he's out. And they're out. Captain Hat is demolished, destroyed. Okay. Meanwhile, D4gr0n is in Automaton 2.
No, you freaking don't, Commander Hat.
Oh no!
Commander Hat.
Oh no.
Oh no!
I don't like what I'm hearing.
Liz got killed by Mr. Hat.
Yeah, that's a risk that can happen.
Everyone's used to like a certain timing here, but once you miss that timing, you have to improvise, and it's pretty easy to lose all your health really quickly. Ristar's hitbox is pretty big. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But marching on, I have no doubt Liz will destroy the rest of the game. Okay, so Automaton 2, let's see, this stage is kind of like Undertow 2. It's filled with rooms, all with their little things to do, and there's a bunch of teleporters. Every room ends in a teleporter. Some rooms you need a crystal to open the teleporter up. Sometimes it's harder to get than others. Let's see, there's a room with the platforms and moving platforms. There's different ways of dealing with it.
Did anyone here do the Liz strat?
I did.
Hey! There's a 2-frame window strat that I had discovered. That is the fastest way to get through one of the rooms with the moving platforms, and a lot of people don't do it just because it's frustrating. Honestly, I find it so easy.
I just mash, and half the time I get it, and when I don't, the backup's not that hard.
Yeah.
I don't know the backup, so.
I don't really know the backup either. Because I mess it up so infrequently that whenever I do mess it up, I'm like, oh god, what do I do? Oh no.
Just, I guess one thing, we've already passed it, but there's a little RNG in the room where you pull open the wall. Where the crystal comes out is random. It could be the first or the last, or anywhere in between. Okay. Uranium. Not uranium. Uranium. Uranium is the boss of Automaton. And it's a pretty intense fight. He moves around a lot. He has a huge hurt box. He has all sorts of attacks, and the quick strat involves damage boosting. Now I haven't learned this myself yet, but I believe involves skipping the Hadouken that he can do.
Basically, he reacts to where you stand to do certain attacks, and by manipulating that, we make it so he can do the Hadouken, where he'll stand still for the longest amount of time, and you can kill him quicker.
We have time for a quick donation.
Sure.
All right, we have $10 from Anosep with no comment. Thank you so much for the donation, going straight to save the children.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Keep him
so
coming.
yes, please. We're at 850 right now, just 150 away to $1,000. Okay, so there is like a sort of half stage after Automaton. It's Greedy City, I believe is the name. I don't remember.
It's the scrap name for it, but yeah.
It's basically a climb up, just using all the ways for vertical movement. Kind of interesting final stage. Star pull, ladders, and climbing up a wall. Pretty simple movement. Everyone basically has it down. But then after that fight is when things start to get pretty difficult, and that starts with Ibar and Dionysus riding him, where you have to hit him quite a bit. He has a lot of HP. He only gets damage after you break his shield, and you want to do a strat where you grab midair so that you can get control sooner, get quicker to hit him again. So it requires probably the most grabs out of any part of the whole game. And right after that is the evil space pirate King Greedy.
Alright, time's coming up for me. Time.
So
GG, D4gr0n.
Nice, GG.
one of the most difficult fights in the game. No, the most difficult fight in the game.
Oh, absolutely. One of the most difficult fights on the Genesis, I know.
It's
Nice 28.
Oh,
What was your time?
Looks like it was 27:51. Wow.
Nice.
awesome. Awesome stuff.
Dang.
I was a little concerned because the cat came into my room as I was entering Greedy Fight.
Oh no.
Hang on.
Like, oh, you on greedy? I'm gonna mess you up. Let's go.
Say hi, Jude.
Hey, Jude. Ooh.
So Greedy, yeah, let's see. Greedy is crazy. The fight starts out with these orbs that he throws at you, and it's they move around randomly. You can get phantom hits where you hit one, but it doesn't go away, and then it'll start dropping orblets and while teleporting around. So you want to trade off like hitting him
Time's
and
coming
hitting
up.
the orblets.
Time.
GG.
GG.
Sorry, bro, dude.
My bad.
No worries, no
Too
worries.
focused.
And so
Going
like
into greedy now.
it's difficult. 29 out of 3 here.
Nice.
It's
I'm not gonna be able to get a sub 30. So close. This was an amazing run up till Automaton won, which
Yeah.
that's how it is for me.
That's pretty typical of Ristar in general.
That's that stage for me.
Alright, I was trying to explain Greedy, but screw it. I mean, you can see it's freaking hard. It also is black hole. If you get sucked into it, you die instantly.
Wonderful.
So here's Liz on the final fight.
All right.
I have
put
one
you down now,
health.
Jude.
That's not good. Okay, well, Greedy's going to be a jerk. Oh no, I died!
No.
No.
Oh.
That's okay. I didn't want to be good anyway. It's okay. Let's show off.
Yeah, that orblet pattern is pretty awful. If he gets that move off. And sometimes he can do it twice in a row, and that is especially awful.
That's the best. He can even double up on his shield. Like he can have 2 shields at once, and he can float around. Well, I don't think he can have 2 at once. He can just float around with the shield, and it's horrible.
Another awful thing about the Greedy Fight is that sometimes your grabs will not register a hit. It's happened.
Time.
It's happened to me. It's happened to Haram. I know that.
GG.
It's happened to Chubbas. It's happened to the best of us. Pretty much it's happened to every runner. GG, Sliz.
GG. Time is 30:48.
Oh gosh, close. Close the entire way through, and then just like a few things where it's just like, oh.
Yeah, up until the very end.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but like for the vast majority of that entire race, you guys were very close together.
Oh man.
Like that was a really good race.
I'm glad it turned out to be a good race because the whole time that
Great
run
job,
was. Oh man. Yeah, good job, guys. GG's.
Great job, everyone. Yeah, I ran this game at AGDQ 2018, by the way. Just so y'all know.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you and Haram were like frame perfect there for.
At the snowball
crazy.
fight, man, we were
That's
all
insane.
pretty much even on snowball fight.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to watch this pod.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, GG's to the Ristar runners. Coming up next on Blast of Process 3, we have Jet Set Radio Future by Two Worlds. So stick around for that. We're going to take a quick break, listen to some great Sega music, and stick around.